welcome to Inspiring Women with ADHD with me, Renee Allen. I'm so glad that you decided to listen today. Today, I want to talk about what it's like when you have ADHD making decisions. Are you decisive? Is it easy for you to make decisions? Is it easier sometimes than other times? Probably. Probably like that for everyone, huh? But are there ever times that you feel like too much pressure? Like, I don't know. And then I don't know, it could cause you to avoid doing something, or it could just cause you to feel anxious inside. An example I can think of I'm still going to make a decision because there's a time limit on it, is when I'm in a restaurant choosing what to order. And I've always been a picky eater. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many things on that menu that I know will taste good. And maybe that's an area that's easy for you. For me, unless I think I'm going to order the same thing I always order, which is what I did as a child. And honestly, it's what I do a lot now. But I put pressure on myself to try something new sometimes. Or if I go to a new restaurant, I don't know. I don't know. The chicken fajitas might taste different here, although chicken fajitas are usually pretty dependable. But yeah, so I'll go to a restaurant, and if I haven't looked at a menu in advance, there's a period of time I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the menu, I'm saying, sure, I'll have some water. And I'm looking at it, and I start looking around at other people's tables to see what their food looks like, if it's something that I might like, especially if the waiter or waitress is walking right by, or server. Do they call them servers now? So yeah, it's just this it blocks me. It blocks me. It makes me kind of freeze up and think, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. And then I'll think, okay, this is what it's going to be. Order that, you'll like that, and you'll be fine with it. And then by the time the person's there, asking what you want, I usually want to go last so I have more time. And I often change my mind. And I often ask, what do people like this? Or what do you think about that? Or does this have a weird sauce? And I usually have the sauces on the side so I can control that sort of thing. But it is one area that trips me up a little bit. And it's really helpful when I can look at the menu in advance, go online, find a menu. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. Make that choice in advance and just feel secure about it. Just think that is fine. That's what you're going to do. Don't change your mind. But I put all kinds of other pressure on myself, like other pressure. Eh, So, like if I go to an Italian restaurant, that's a nice Italian restaurant. It's not like I go out to eat that often, but I know I'll like the pizza. I know I'll like the pizza. But sometimes I put pressure on myself, like, oh, you're in a nice Italian restaurant. It's not just a pizza place. Don't order the pizza. You should order something else. You should try something else. And often when I do that, I'm disappointed. It's not like I don't like the other things. I do like lasagna. I do like ravioli, different things, but I may not like the way that they make it. And that happened last month. We went to a really nice Italian restaurant. Like, it's maybe not the top tier at Disney World at Epcot. I'm from California, so we still call it, at least I do. I'm not to the point of calling it Disney. You know how people say, I'm going to Disney. In California, you never say I'm going to Disney. If you're going to Disneyland, you say I'm going to Disneyland. And when other people say, oh, I went to Disney, and they were in California, you think, oh, you must be from somewhere else. At least that's what I thought. So anyway, now I'm in Florida. I went to Disney World. I went to Epcot, and they have, I think, a couple different Italian restaurants. Like, you could walk up, or food options. One is to walk up and just get the pizza, and another one is a sit down restaurant where they have pizza there too on the menu, but they also have pasta and things like that. And you have to make reservations in advance. And then the next, I think there's two others. One is more expensive than the other. The menu just gets pricier and pricier. So the first time that I bit the bullet money-wise because I usually like to go so cheap with food, bring my own food and kind of starve. And I'm fine with that. I'll just bring a protein bar and keep eating them all day long or something like that. But anyway, last year, my two of my daughters and I, one of them who sings the intro and outro song, went to Epcot and went to the restaurant that serves the pizza and serves the pasta. And we decided to get the pizza, and it was amazing. I think it's like Napoli Ristorante or something like that. It was so good. And we brought some home too, because I think we ordered a whole pizza plus some sides or something, and even cold or even reheated, every possibility. It was amazing. So the next time I went with my husband, we didn't have a reservation, but I said they have this walk-up place where you can get pizza slices, but you just can't go in the restaurant. So we stood in line for that. It wasn't the same pizza. I was so bummed. I thought it was the same. And when you order before you see it, I love to see it before I order, but I didn't. You had to order and then at the end of the line, you get your pizza. Well, it wasn't like a round pizza with slices, that you cut in like a pie. It wasn't like that. It was square, it was big, and they were really thick pieces of crust. And I think each piece, it seemed like it was as big as a plate. And we each ordered two slices because I was going off of thinking it was like the other place. And and then and then I bring back all that pressure that I bring on myself when I'm in a restaurant. Oh, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have just gotten one. And because then you have to carry stuff around. And I don't like carrying stuff around. I like to walk around as light as I can. And they had paper plates, but they didn't have boxes, they didn't have bags, and we're like, "Oh my goodness." So we got we each got a plate with this giant piece, sat down. I don't even know if we each ate a whole piece because they were so big. But we thought, what do we do? Because we have to walk around with these. We're just going to hold them with two hands walking around. We only had maybe had a few more hours, but still. So we walked into one of the stores, and if you haven't been to Epcot before, each area in the World Showcase is a different country. And Italy, you walk into this little cove, and there are a couple stores that they sell things from Italy. So we went in, and I said, "Do you happen to have any bags?" And oh yeah, I think I got creative enough that when I found out they didn't have boxes at the pizza walk-up spot, I asked if we could get a extra paper plate so we could at least stack them. So it's like you got a plate, plate, pizza plate, so it's like a little, like a macaron or something like that. But anyway, so they gave us a bag. They even, because I think there weren't a lot of people in the store and they were just happy to talk to people, they even had said, we can tape them for you. So they taped them so that they wouldn't slide around. So that was good. So that was experience number two at Epcot. The next time I went, I thought, okay, I know those two things, but there's all these other countries. You should try something else. And actually, if I back up, the first time I ate there, I hated it. It was in Mexico, the Mexico part of Epcot. And I'm used to Mexican food because, I lived in California my whole life till a couple years ago. So my daughter and I went to one of the walk-up counter Mexico places, and and I don't like lines. If you have ADHD, you probably get super antsy in line too. And it's one thing for the line to be a certain length, but when it doesn't move, I just go so crazy inside. And so we finally get up to the counter. I've gone through my, should I get this or that? And I decided, I don't know what it was, a burrito or something. I have no idea. But I did notice on the ingredients it said pickled onions. And I thought, what on earth? I've never heard of pickled onions. And they were horrible. I hate pickles, so it had, I guess, a pickle taste. It was horrible. I hated it so much. My daughter didn't like hers either. We were just like, we didn't complain to them, but I thought this isn't authentic. I mean, maybe it is in part of Mexico. Maybe I am not understanding a certain area of Mexico, but in California, any place I've ever been, they've never had pickled onions. So anyway, so next time after the two Italian positive experiences, but had to carry too much experience. And the second pizza wasn't as amazing as the first one, but it was still good, and it was actually better when we got home and got to reheat it. So, or just eat it cold for breakfast if you do that. I like doing that. So, back to the next time, the pressure, the pressure, the voices in my head of you need to go outside of your box and choose another country. And so my daughter and I walked by every middle menu. These are all the walk up places. No, 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 no. Yeah, nothing sounded good. And I see this restaurant that's inside, which is nice when it's hot outside to walk inside. You get a little break heat wise. And it was in Morocco. And I thought, oh, I went to Israel and Greece a few years ago and loved the food. So I thought Mediterranean, yes, yes, yes. Morocco, Mediterranean, right? So we go in, and I actually bought like three little things that were each like $4 or something. It was really yummy. So I thought, okay, that was a win. That was a win. I was brave, but I did look at the ingredients a little more carefully, and I was really happy about it. And it didn't cost that much. So back to just a month ago, my husband and I are going to go to Epcot. I said, do you want to go to a place where you sit down and an order on the inside? It'll cost more. We're penny pinchers, definitely. It'll cost more, but this justification, do you ever have justifications for how much you spend? You weigh it out in your mind, right? So I realized after going to Greece, the food is so amazing, that if I went to a Greek restaurant and it cost more than I wanted to spend, I didn't have to buy a flight. I didn't have to rent a car, stay in a Airbnb or anything like that. So you're saving money by, getting authentic Mediterranean food or wherever it is. So anyway, so I had the whole thing in my head. So I said that to him, we could go to one of these Italian restaurants, but he said, well, read off all the countries to me. And I thought, oh my goodness, because I had already looked because I have to research. I have to research before I decide what food to eat. I know it's crazy, but when you go to make a reservation to get a spot like 7 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever at one of these restaurants. I don't know if it always has to be the day before, but this is the night before. And there were a lot of slots missing, so it was limited. And so I knew I could just go to this Napoli pizza restaurant, whatever it's called. I could go there and I know I would just eat the same thing for sure. I would get that pizza and I would just eat it, eat it, eat it, love it. But he said, well, read this. So I had already read the other countries, like maybe England, maybe China, maybe Japan. And as I read through the menus, I was like, and a lot of, I don't like seafood. I even looked at the hotels that you take on they have a tram, like a Skyliner that we would take back to where we parked our car. Anyway, yeah, I'd already looked at those and I thought, oh, I don't want to need those, but okay. So I was reading the options and, they have this or this and this and then I get to the Italian ones and there is a spot with the Napoli pizza place. And he said, well, how about that other one that's a little nicer, like the step up? And I thought, okay, okay. So I booked it. So we went there. It did kind of cost an arm and leg, even though it wasn't the highest tier one. And the experience was heavenly, lovely, everything, but I did not like my food. I was so sad. I ordered lasagna because I looked around. I thought, yeah, that's probably fine. I even ordered an appetizer of mushrooms, of wild mushrooms or whatever, because I love mushrooms. So for me, if I just add mushrooms, cooked mushrooms, I don't like raw. If I add them to anything, it makes it better, 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 and wonderful. So I thought I'm even going to splurge a little on an appetizer and add that into my lasagna. And I didn't, I didn't like the mushrooms. They were exotic, so they were like chewy and stringy. And then the lasagna, I don't know, it just tasted super salty to me. But it could just be me. It totally just could be me. So I was bummed. I thought I weighed all the things. So I take these experiences, and this is just in the past year. I take these experiences. I have a whole history of experiences of just order a salad. She's ordering a salad, and then I hate the salad, and then I'm so mad at myself for not, liking it, eating it, whatever. Yeah. So decisions. And we have voices in our heads. We have experiences that play into our decisions. And shopping brings choices, whether it's clothes shopping, what to buy, how much to spend, how it looks, all those things. And sometimes I can do it and love doing it. And other times, the pressure, it's just a lot of pressure. So, other things. What about packing? I am now about to pack. I haven't really packed anything yet, but I'm going on a trip tomorrow, a 2-week trip. And I got out the big suitcase and the carry-on, and I did all my laundry, but I haven't made decisions because last year I did a trip to California. It wasn't quite as long, maybe more like 10 days, 11 days. This year it's 2 weeks. And I so overpacked. And I think that is a symptom of not wanting to make hard decisions. Because if you pack fewer clothes, you have to really be sure that those choices are good. If you don't have, bring a raincoat or whatever just in case it rains. And if you're a person who's, wants to plan for all the scenarios, the weather, the discomfort that could be possible if you don't have this, or this, it it may be that aspect that is kind of, if you think of it as being a cousin to ADHD, having a obsessive compulsive nature, maybe not the full OCD, but it's just worrying that if you don't do that, you'll wish you had. And I tried one trip years ago because my husband is a minimalist packer, and he would always say, you don't need, why don't you just pack less? It's so much easier. So I tried that one trip, and my packing less wasn't to his degree, but I went on a weekend with old college friends. I think it was just 3 days or something. And I only packed clothing for each day. I didn't pack options. And so the decisions are already made, right? I don't get to go and say, should I wear this top with these pants today or this one? It's already set. It's already decided, unless you're stealing one from the next day's outfit or something. And I thought, okay, I'm going to learn to do this. I'm going to bring these clothes. This is going to be better. And it probably was nicer walking into the hotel without it, as heavy of a suitcase and stuff. But I was hating it the whole time, like every day, just like wishing I had more options, wishing I didn't feel so limited. I've never done that since. But last year, when I went to California, I I had to make some, well, kind of hard decisions because I packed everything and I needed to have different shoes, and we all know shoes weigh more, right? So I was going to go work out with friends, so I brought workout shoes, and I probably brought two different pairs because, like maybe after wearing one pair one day, the next day I'd wish I had a different one so my feet didn't hurt or something. I don't know. I'm always packing for comfort. But I got to the point, and it was probably like an hour before we're going to leave for the airport. And at the end, I always weigh the big suitcase. And, if you're in the US, 50 pounds is the limit. And it was, it was like 70 pounds. And I thought, oh, okay. So I told my husband, I need to rearrange this. So I opened up the carry on, the big suitcase, and my personal item, which I've learned if I have a bigger bag that I can put my purse in, that could be my personal item. I have a quilted duffel bag that fits under the seat just fine, but it can carry quite a bit. So anyway, so I open it all up because in my mind, I'm just going to take anything that's heavy in the big one, put it in the carry-on and switch. And my husband's like, you probably need to like get rid of a lot of that, right? Like take it out and not take it. And like in my mind, it's like not an option, not an option. That's not what I want to do. So I think maybe I gave up one sweatshirt or something like that. I don't know. I may have even layered it. And it was, Florida. It was like 90 degrees and humid when we got to the airport. But anyway, I was glad I had it on the airplane. It could be another pillow or whatever. But on my trip, I didn't even wear half of the clothes that I brought. I rewore things because it just fit the need. And I thought, wait, oh my gosh, like, why'd you bring so much? And I even left one of the suitcases in the rental car because I wasn't needing it inside. And yeah, so that's in my mind right now with this ability or inability to make decisions. And I'm realizing that indecisiveness is one of the things that can stop us from getting something done, can stop me from ordering. So, like, yeah, I want to order at the end of this group of 8 people so I can try to decide. Or I'm going to wait until the night before after I teach one more yoga class to start packing. And it's just because I can't make the decision. I can't, I can't deal with that pressure or something, right? And often I think we think of other kinds of distractions stopping us from getting something done. And it could be, other things we need to do, or our own mind, or our own body. I feel too tired. There's so many distractions that can interfere with us accomplishing something that we want to do. There's also inability to focus, which is so closely related to the distractions, right? And there's also the overwhelm, which maybe this indecisiveness fits into that overwhelm category. I've always thought of the overwhelm more being I just can't get myself to start. Sometimes it's because you don't know how to do it, and the idea of figuring out all those steps or even just paying attention to all those steps is just too much, too much. You've already got the overburdened brain. That's what we learn with ADHD. We have an overburdened brain. Yay. And doesn't mean that we can't fit something else in there or learn to do something else, but it makes it harder to do it or to start. And it's not like we're the only people on the planet who have a hard time doing things, but we are talking about ourselves right here because we're trying to find out, how can I get past something like that? How can I get past the overwhelm? Is it because I'm trying to make too many decisions and my brain can't do that right now? And sometimes writing things down can really be helpful. Pre-planning, I don't know if you like to write lists of what to bring. I don't know that I do that anymore, but I used to, especially when, I had 6 kids. So figuring out, okay, we need to bring this, 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 and then you kind of cross it off. Or sometimes, especially something like going camping, you need to have all those things. So you can look online and see what to bring for a 2-day camping trip, that kind of thing. So that can help take the guesswork out or the decision making part out. But there are just a lot of things that go into this, aren't there? Even just deciding what to wear for an occasion. You don't even have to be packing to go anywhere. What kind of ideas come in your mind that might interfere with making a decision? Is it easy for you to go in the closet and just think, this is what I'm wearing? Or do you think, well, I could wear this or I could wear this, and you put out a few options? And then you get dressed, and then you think, no, that doesn't work because if I get cold, I want to wear this sweater, and that sweater doesn't match that. And then you scratch it all and start over. It can be hard, right? Or I could wear that, but my feet are going to hurt by the end of the night. Or I really like how this feels. It's super comfortable, but I don't feel like it's the most flattering thing. I have some pants like that that I love to wear, and I don't think they're very flattering. And my new thing that I think, because I'm in my 50s, I won't tell you where, maybe I can, but but I've realized, because I have, younger daughters. I have a daughter who's, oh gosh, I have to do the math. She's 23, and one who is 34 and one who's 32. All three of them look amazing in anything that they wear. They're like as my mother would say, smashing. They always look good. And I would think at their age, a lot of people are noticing that, like, whoa, she's really pretty or whatever, whether it's they're wearing something casual or not. I'm thinking at this stage in my life, no one's looking at what I'm wearing. No one else cares. And yet I put that pressure on myself. We went to an Eagles concert. What year was that? Oh, we've got the tickets before COVID, and it was a Christmas present for any of my kids that I thought would want to see the Eagles. And then, like a half hour later, one of my sons was in his room playing the electric guitar, playing all these Eagles songs. And I didn't even think he liked the Eagles or listened to their music. And I'm like, oh man. And then, anyway, I ended up buying two more tickets because my youngest son wanted to go. Yeah, another story for another time. But that concert got postponed, I think, twice because of COVID and stuff. And I think it was like November 2022. Oh gosh, 2021. Yeah, I think it was 2021. Like it matters to you, right? Could have even been October. I don't remember. But I think it was October. So we finally get to go to this Eagles concert. We drive from where we live. It was like 5, maybe 6 hours to drive to Los Angeles and go to the concert. And even though they did have a concert in the Bay Area closer to where we lived, my son was in dental school. So I needed to make it easier for him and his wife. So we were going to the concert in LA, and we drove down same day, listening to all the songs in the car. I like to prep, even though I know all the songs in the Eagles. But so we drive down there, and there was a Dodgers game on. My son's a big Dodgers fan. So we had some time and we sat and watched the Dodgers game. And we didn't have a lot of time, but we had a little bit of time. And I was wearing Uggs boots. And my plan was wear the Uggs, which are, especially in the wintertime, most comfy thing on earth. Wear the Uggs until you get to the concert and then change into your cute shoes. I must have forgotten or something. I don't know. Or put myself last and like, oh, it's time to go. Or, you know what? Actually, it was probably because the traffic for the parking was so bad. This is what I'm thinking is and maybe I did forget because of this, but we got there and the parking lot traffic was so slow that we started wondering if we'd miss the first song, which was Hotel California. And they were doing the whole album of Hotel California in the order of the album. And I could see that because it was just so stop and go, stop and go. And even though we got there like a half hour before the concert, should have planned to be there way earlier. But part of me was thinking, they won't start without all of us. Look at how many people are out here. But there was no warm up band or anything like that. So I said to my kids, I'll stay with dad. You guys get out, jump out, and go because I don't want you to miss Hotel California. You go stick together, get in, they're all adults, and we'll find you. And so they did. They got in there before it started, and we got in there maybe the last third of the song. I could hear it as we were walking in, which was great. I'm glad we got to hear part of it. But I'm happier that my kids did. I'm happier that they did. So that's probably why I had the Ugg boots on, is we probably finally got to our parking spot. And I either thought I don't have time to go switch my shoes, or I just started walking in. And then when I was in there, I just felt like the biggest slob. I'm wearing Ugg boots with my jeans. I probably even brought a different, like different top or something. I don't know. I don't know. But I just remember the feeling I had. And you might have memories like that of recognizing I underdressed, I overdressed, and then it distracts from your experience. Although once I was in the concert, no one cares, right? No one even sees me. For heaven's sake, no one sees me. But I went during the break to the bathroom, was in line with 5,000 other women, and they looked really cute, wearing nice, dresses or pants or heels or whatever they were wearing. It wasn't me at all. I was in my Ugg boots. And so I think that's when I thought, I wish I hadn't made that decision. And I think about that now when I'm making decisions. I don't want that Ugg boot mistake again. but life goes on. And I, the reality of part of me knew no one was looking at you. No one looked and thought, "Ooh, why is she wearing her Ugg boots?" And if they did, they might have thought, "Gosh, she's a lot more comfortable than I am." I don't know. I don't know. But after that, even though I had the experience of wearing something, feeling like, yeah, I was not dressed appropriately, or, it wasn't inappropriate, but, like I didn't match the occasion. It also made me really realize no one else is looking a bit at you and thinking about what you're wearing. They're thinking about themselves and they won't give it a second thought. So, all those little things I'm trying to use to help me make better decisions. I don't know where your decision blocks come. Do you have any? Those are the ones I could think of the most was and food, clothing and food. And yeah, I can think of a lot more if I think about it, just what to do next. I don't like to make lists. I don't like to, prioritizing. Prioritizing is something that is a challenge for women with ADHD. And sometimes it's just simplifying it to this has to be done. But when you have something that doesn't have to be done, and maybe there's 3 or 4 of those, what's next, right? So hopefully, hopefully we'll work our way through these things. And it's interesting to me how multifaceted it is. And I hope you start looking at your own brain and when it seems to be functioning smoothing when it seems that wasn't smoothing when it seems to be functioning smoothly and when it's not. So I think that's going to be it for today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I am planning to make some episodes of the podcast. This is first of a few. I say a few because I have the plan. Still haven't made the decision, I guess. I have the plan to make 4 before I leave, but I still haven't packed, and I have to teach a yoga class in 2 hours, and I'm flying away tomorrow at 2. But my plan is to make enough episodes that when I'm gone, there will still be 2 posted each week. So if for some reason I'm not able to do that, there might not be 2, there might just be one week. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for being here. Feel free to stop by my website, sign up for my 5-day focus challenge. Had to think of what that's called. I'm gonna start that on July 15th. I was gonna set it up to start where anyone could just go and sign up, and then I would automate some emails so you could start on your own the following Monday because it's good to do a 5-day challenge starting, Monday through Friday. But we've got 4th of July coming up. If you live in the US, I'm going to be out of town. I want to be present with you and actually do the challenge along with you. And so, yeah, so then the current plan is you can sign up now and I'll have you in the system. And then right before July 15th, you'll get an email kind of giving you the framework for it. And each day, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll get an email each of those days with a little video and some tasks and steps in my 5-step framework for better focus. So, anyway, feel free to go to my website, reneeallen.com, if you want to do that. So, I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.
Open windows, broken shadows. Frozen dreams are left for tomorrow. Without a cause. No time for a pause. Rewind, I've run out of time to sing melodies and harmonies. I'm cut short, the silence sense of sound has yet been found, but not by me.